Hey y'all, how you doing? It's Michael Burns with One Mic Out with a mic drop for you. Someone suggested I use that, so I figured I'd use it. But today with social media, one thing that I'm sure a lot of you have noticed and I've noticed is there's just it's inundated day in and day out with nothing but negativity. You open up Twitter especially, and it just seems like it's just one side attacking the other and the other side attacking the other, and it's just nothing but bad news, which then can obviously affect your day and affect your mood and your psyche and just uh, your your overall personality for the day, and can cause all this undue stress, uh, where you start to look at it and you're wondering like why, why am I, why do I care? Why do I care to read about such things? And I understand there's news that you need to know. Need, but there's important information out there that you have to sift through all the bad stuff. I get that, but um, it how to put it. I think social media is just a time filler and it's a time stealer. It definitely robs us of our time. How much time do you spend on the internet every day? Look at right now, for example. Um, how much of it is the same thing every single day? The same thing. It's Groundhog Day. If you've seen that movie with Bill Murray, Richard Dreyfuss, it's over and over the same day relived. And that's what social media is, and the news and everything. It's all the same. It's just a different, it's just a different, wrapped in a different shell. I call it's like American Mexican food, if you will. American Mexican food consists of cheese, a tortilla, some sort of meat, some lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and sour cream and guac, and then it's wrapped in a tortilla, or it's not wrapped, or it's put on top of the tortilla and all that. It's literally the same thing. It's just shaped differently, and that's what the social media is, and that's how it portrays the news or conveys the news every single day, where it's nothing but negativity, and you end up finding out that, man, today sucks, and why? Well, you probably spent the morning on the can looking at Twitter and looking at all the bad news going on, or you're filling your mind with the trash that you see in social media, with everyone sharing. It'll be nice, but videos of themselves, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Everything is so vain. And everything's the same thing, that you find on it. You read, you have the guys, and the guys and gals on the right side of the aisle who are, telling you every day how hell bent, that the left is on destroying the world, and then everyone on the left who's saying how hell bent the right is on destroying the world and everything, the world in which they want to create and live in. And you just end up finding out that it's just doing nothing productive for you. It's not edifying you in any way, shape, or form. Um, and even this is something that's a dude trying to do a podcast, trying to talk and yada yada yada, and spewing a lot of the same stuff you can find elsewhere. It's just wrapped differently, right? It's just my own take of wrapping all those same ingredients in a damn tortilla. Um, and it's just there comes a point where you need to probably just honestly ultimately shut it off, because there's so much nonsense on both sides. It's every single day. It's inundating. And now, since we have this technology now, since we have these phones and things that we can constantly view the news and people's opinions and all that kind of stuff, you have to ask yourself why am I caring about the opinion of this person, or why do I care to get my news from this organization or that organization, or why do you even care in reality? Because there's nothing that you truly can do to control it. The only thing that you can control is what you choose, just like what you eat, what you choose to intake into your brain. And when you sit down and think about it, if it's not helping you, if it's not helping you reach your next goal, if it's not helping you attain success, and if it's not helping maybe build morals or morals, not morale, well, morale too, but morals within your family and whatnot, then I think it's time you shut it off. A lot of people are like, oh, I'll lose my 1,200 followers. I'll lose my 2,000 friends on Facebook. I'll lose it. I mean, who gives a shit? All the close people who you care about, you're probably talking to already, via text message, or talking to on the phone. Does it really, at the end of the day, really matter? Um, and it doesn't. At the end of the day, it truly doesn't. Because if the power were to go out tomorrow, you would lose all that anyway. And what do you have to show for it? And what do you have? Are you prepared spiritually, mentally, and physically for that type of scenario? Um, and I've talked to a lot of people recently, who they feel it too, that there's something on the horizon. And then I'm not trying to be a doom and gloomist, of someone saying, "Oh man, the world's gonna end." But if you do kind of get a feeling of it, I mean, the very reason we're talking about getting off social media, the very reason we're talking about it is because of all the filth that you see within it. And that you absorb, and that you're seeing every single day. And with what I've learned from time in the military and time, as a missionary, and time as just, being a freaking human being, is that the more you're exposed to something, over and over and over again, the more it's going to have an impact on you. It's going to have that slow frog in a frying pan, slowly raising the temperature effect on you, to where now you can't, recognize who you are anymore because of that slow gradual process of the change that has happened within you. And a lot of it is just due to the fact that we're indoctrinating ourselves by allowing ourselves to continuously poison our brains and our minds with what you see on social media. Now, I know the majority, if not 100% of you, will not get off it. I'm not, but it's about limiting the content that you bring in, and starting to kind of sift out the bad, and only pursue the good. And it's like unto stopping something. Like, for example, me, I've been on the wagon, and I haven't had a drink in over a month, and I feel much better about that, and I feel healthier. I feel better. I have more energy and things like that. Skin feels better and all that kind of stuff. And it's the same thing where the first little bit is always kind of the most difficult, but once you get past the hurdle or the hump, then it becomes easier. And for example, I very rarely get on Twitter these days just because of all the negativity. I've unfollowed so many accounts and so many other news personalities and things like that, because a lot of them are just spewing a hateful opinion that's full of bullshit rhetoric. And I just decided, what, it's not doing anything edifying to me. It's not constructive in any way, shape, or form. It's only tearing me down. It's causing me to worry. Now, I'm not saying that we worry for a reason, but about real issues, about real things, like how am I going to put food on the table? That's a real, that's something that you should worry about, and that worry will help hopefully motivate you to continue to have food on that table, and find ways to get food on that table. But then there's other things that you worry about, like the China virus, the coming out of the Wuhan lab. You know, I don't care anymore. I give zero f's about all of that, because I know that there's a grander plan that's happening on a mundane level, on a worldly level, that's being orchestrated by bad people, and there's nothing that I personally can do to thwart that plan or to vector that plan in a different direction. But there's a greater plan beyond that, that is someone who is much more powerful, who has a greater plan, and that is the plan that you should have your trust and your faith in. And if you get my gist of where I'm going with that, that's where your faith should be and your trust should be, and that's where your focus should be. And by doing so, you're going to start to seek out content of great positivity that you're going to want to put in, or that you're going to be, by default putting into your brain, and then your actions and everything are going to start to kind of have a essentially an order of effects type of reaction to it. And so I would just leave you with, do your best, and we're human. We all have faults, we all have errors, and that's just who we are. And don't ever try to we should always try not to commit errors and mistakes and all that, however they're going to happen. But seek out anything that's positive, anything that is of good. good fortune essentially, and use that as a cornerstone to creating the new you, or maybe reclaiming the old you. But I'll tell you one thing: this shit, social media, um, is probably uh, think of it like the gun. The gun, it can be used for good things and bad things. Or the airplane. The airplane's been used for good things. It's been used for bad things. Social media can be used for good things and bad things. But right now, we're witnessing on an epic level of how bad it can really get. And I would just say, do your best to sift out that stuff. Turn it off if you can. I mean, if you absolutely can't live without it, turn it off for a little bit, or like I did, unfollow all those things that were just negative all the time. Like I unfollowed all the news organizations. I don't care about that, because that's just someone else's stupid opinion doesn't that's not my opinion, that I don't care about. I don't care, because a lot of it is just the same rhetoric over and over and over again, and it's just gotten to that point to where it's like, you know what, enough is enough. There's books out there that you can read to educate yourself. There's books out there that you can start to read to kind of figure out what your purpose is in this whole thing, instead of just living for the weekends, week in and week out. You start to find a grander purpose to things. So again, I told you that I was going to stay away from the political stuff, and I'm staying away from it, just because it's easy content. That's easy, low hanging fruit to go after. Everybody's doing it, and it just seems like the same thing over and over and over. Where I'm not here to be a life coach. I'm not here to give you like true financial advice. I'm not an expert in that field. I'm not here to do that. If anything, I'm just here to hopefully maybe just help you remember who you once were, who you can be, because that's what I think about every single day, of who I once was and who I want to truly aspire to be, and what examples I want to follow. And I'll tell you what, when it comes to a lot of social media stuff and all that, there are very few people out there, personalities and all that, influencers, if you will, that I really could care less about following, in terms of I'm not talking social media following, but like following as an example. If anything, it would be, my own family, and what you find in the good book, and using that as your guide. Anything that is of good character and good content is good stuff for you. But anyway, don't be afraid to make the change. Don't think it's too difficult to do. Don't procrastinate it. Don't put it off. You just do it, and you'll see that it gets easier with each day that goes by, as long as you stay the course. Anyway, this was just another little mic drop moment for you. I don't know what the hell I'm going to call these things, but that sounds kind of fun. But hey, reclaim yourself, or rediscover, or create the new you. But there's more to life, ladies and germs, than living for the weekend. There's more to life than And again, I'm the biggest guilty party of it all. But I'm just trying to make the change, and I've done it before, and I'm doing it again, because I know I can do it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm doing it. And I'm telling y'all, hey, there's just a weird feeling out there of something on the horizon. And again, I'm on a doom and gloomist, but I am hey, it's time to really get serious about preparing for something. Regardless, we've seen what can happen, we've seen what can go off the shelves, and we've seen how fast things can run out and all that. But I think first and foremost, you need to be ready spiritually, because at the end of the day, if you're wrong about that, you don't lose anything. You lose nothing. You maybe you lose some nights out with your friends partying, and maybe you lose the opportunity to waste money. But you don't really lose anything by reclaiming yourself in that regard. And if you don't do that, then you just follow that same Groundhog Day lifestyle that, to what end? Uh, it's just there's more to all of this, and I think we're witnessing a lot of that with what we see, overtly right now going on around us. We're seeing a lot of stuff that has been talked about and foretold before, and you're seeing a lot of it start to begin to come to pass. So, again, I'm not telling you to, hey, go to church. I'm not telling you to do that kind of stuff. I'm not telling you to read the Bible. I'm not telling you to do all that kind of stuff. I'm just telling you, or I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just recommending that you, maybe take a chance on, rediscovering yourself and reclaiming yourself, and realizing what's most important in your life and what your priorities truly are versus, oh man, it's the weekend and here we go again. And I used to be a big believer in, hey man, you do whatever makes you happy, but a lot of times we're using that as an escape from what isn't making us happy, and then we're just trying to forget rather than trying to pursue happiness. We're just pursuing a pathway to forget, and that is a negative. You're trying to fill a void that you're seeking the wrong thing. You're trying to fill a void with the wrong content. So anyway, same thing as always. Let me know what you think. But I'll throw this, this will be up on YouTube and IG and all that kind of stuff. But, don't be afraid to cut all that nonsense out. Anyway, I look forward to hearing what any of you, all like two of you, have to say. So, but yeah, anyway, this is Michael Burns with One Mic Out, and I will hopefully see you with the next one.